Welcome to today's deep dive. I'm your host, and I want you to picture a scenario that I think is, well, it's pretty much universally terrifying.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm your resident communication expert today, by the way. Lay it on me.
Okay, so it is Friday afternoon. You have spent the entire week just grinding on a presentation,
Oh,
right? I'm talking about the kind of work where you've lost sleep, you are completely overcaffeinated, and you have obsessed over, like, every single pixel and bullet point on the screen.
we've all been there.
Yeah. So you walk into the conference room, you fire up the deck, and you deliver the absolute pitch of your life. You hit that final slide, the big thank you slide, and you look at your boss,
Waiting for the applause.
waiting for the applause, or, there's a nod, a smile, literally anything.
And instead, you get the silence.
You get the heavy silence. They lean back in their chair. They clasp their hands. They pause for what feels like 3 geological eras. And they say the two most ambiguous, dangerous words in the English language.
Oh, boy.
That's interesting.
It is the linguistic equivalent of a trap door just opening right under your feet.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
I mean, your stomach drops. Your palms get sweaty. You're immediately thinking, okay, I need to pack up my desk. Security's going to be escorting me out.
Yeah.
It feels like a performance review in disguise, just happening in real time.
And yet, if you look at it on paper, completely devoid of context, it's such a harmless phrase.
Right.
I mean, interesting. It's not an insult.
But that is exactly what makes it so maddening. It's the fog of war.
Right.
And that is actually what we are unpacking today. We're doing a deep dive into a tactical guide on workplace communication. And this guide focuses entirely on decoding this specific phrase.
It's such a crucial topic.
It really is. Our
I think-
mission today is to stop you from spiraling the next time you hear, that's interesting, and hopefully help you actually turn it into an advantage.
We are going to break down why it triggers that specific panic response, what it actually means, because, spoiler alert, it is rarely what you think it is.
Right.
And most importantly, we're going to give you the exact scripts, like the literal words to use to flip that situation from just pure anxiety to total clarity.
But before we get to the fix, though, I do want to dwell on the pain for a second.
Naturally.
Why does this mess with our heads so much?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if my boss looked at me and said, I hate this idea, it's garbage, I'd be crushed, sure.
Sure.
But at least I'd know where I stood. I could go home, maybe cry a little, and move on.
And that's the key right there. It's certainty versus uncertainty. The source material highlights a really fascinating psychological point here. The human brain is essentially a prediction machine.
Okay.
It craves certainty. So when you hear, I hate it, that's bad news. But it's certain bad news.
Right, your brain can process it. I can make a plan for bad.
Exactly. But interesting is just linguistically neutral. It is completely beige. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. And the brain really abhors a vacuum.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, when we face ambiguity, our amygdala, which is the threat detection center of the brain, it just lights up. We don't assume the best. We assume the worst to protect ourselves.
So it's basically a survival mechanism.
100%. This is the negativity bias in action.
Yeah.
In the absence of clear data, your brain fills the gap with a threat.
Wow.
You start analyzing their tone, their micro-expressions, the timing. But because the word itself gives you nothing to work with, you just project your own deepest insecurities onto it.
It's like a Rorschach test made of words.
Yes.
Like, if I'm insecure about the bucket slide and they say interesting, I immediately assume they saw that math error I was worried about.
Precisely. And the source makes a critical distinction here that I think is brilliant. It's not just the word that scares us. It is the silence that usually follows it.
The dreaded pause.
Right. That silence is described in the guide as where the anxiety lives.
Oh, that is too real. It's that pause where you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're just sitting there completely frozen, waiting for the butt.
And that is exactly where most people make the mistake of spiraling. They start talking just to fill the silence, and they often end up digging themselves into a massive hole.
Guilty.
But if we look at the communication data from the source, that's interesting. Usually falls into 4 very distinct categories. And knowing which one you are actually dealing with changes the game completely.
Okay, let's decode these so we can stop the panic. Give me category number 1. And please, for my own sanity, tell me there's a version of this that's actually good.
There is, actually. Meaning number 1 is genuine interest. They are genuinely processing what you just said.
Wait, so they aren't hating it, they're just thinking.
Right. Think about the personality types in leadership. Some leaders are external processors. They talk to think out loud.
Yeah, the vocal one.
But many are internal processors. They don't react with immediate applause or excitement. They need a moment to map the new idea onto their existing mental models.
Okay.
So when they say, that's interesting, they literally mean, this is intellectually stimulating to me, and I am chewing on it right now.
But how do I tell the difference? Because a thinking face and a disapproving face look suspiciously similar when you're nervous.
That's the trick. You have to look for the follow-up. The source points out that if it is genuine interest, they will usually pivot to implementation.
Implementation, like what?
They'll ask questions like, how would we actually resource this? Or what's the timeline for rollout?
Oh, I see. So if they're asking about the how, they've effectively already bought into the what.
Exactly. They have moved past judgment and straight into logistics. That is a total green light.
Okay, I can breathe a little easier. But let's be real. It's not always that sunny. What about when it feels, stickier?
That brings us to meaning number 2, which is the not convinced. This is pure skepticism.
Ah, this is the interesting but scenario.
Yes. Even if they don't say the but out loud, in this context, interesting translates to you haven't fully thought this through.
Ouch. That stings.
It does. And the cues here are subtle. The source notes that the tone is usually slower, maybe a bit drawn out, like, that's interesting.
Right. The eyebrows might go up. It's basically a stall tactic. They are buying time to formulate their objection because they don't want to just say no without a specific reason.
I feel like I've seen this movie before. They say interesting, and then like 10 seconds later, they hit you with, have you considered the regulatory impact?
Exactly. And that's the verbal cue. If the next sentence is a challenge or a hole-poking question, that interesting was code for skepticism.
Okay, so we have genuine interest, which is a green light, and skepticism, which is a yellow light. What is door number 3?
This is the one that causes the most confusion and, frankly, the most resentment later on, meaning number 3 is polite disagreement, or what the source calls the soft no.
The soft no. This sounds like a breakup line. It's not you. It's interesting.
It's actually very similar. This is used by bosses who are conflict averse
Yeah.
or who really highly value workplace harmony.
They don't want to shoot you down in front of the team. They don't want to crush your spirit right there. So instead of saying, I disagree with this fundamental premise, they say, that's interesting.
That feels so dangerous because you can walk away thinking, hey, they thought it was interesting. Meanwhile, the project is already completely dead in their mind.
That is the exact danger. The translation here is, I don't agree, but I am not going to fight you on it right this second.
I want to dig into why this happens, because the source material brings up a really crucial point about culture here. We're not just talking about office culture, but actual global culture.
This is huge. If you are working in a global business or even just a very diverse team, the phrase, that's interesting, changes currency depending on where you are. We're talking about high context versus low context cultures.
Break that down for us.
Sure. In a low context culture, so think New York corporate finance, the Netherlands, Germany communication, is very explicit.
Like yes means yes.
Right. No means no. If it's bad, they just tell you it's bad.
Direct criticism is just efficient there.
Exactly. But in high context cultures, parts of Asia, Latin America, even the American South or the UK communication is implicit.
Okay.
The relationship and preserving face matters way more than the raw data in that specific moment. In those contexts, direct confrontation is seen as rude or immature. So that's interesting, is almost certainly a polite code for I completely disagree.
It's the bless your heart of the corporate world.
That is the perfect analogy. If you don't understand that cultural layer, you might leave a meeting thinking you crushed it, while literally everyone else in the room knows the project is dead.
And this gets even messier with remote work, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Add a layer of Zoom lag to the mix.
Yeah.
You finish your pitch, there's silence. Are they processing? Are they being polite? Or did their wifey just freeze?
Right.
That ambiguity spikes the anxiety even higher.
So wait, the outline mentioned 4 meanings. What's the 4th one? We've got genuine interest, skepticism, and the soft no.
Ah, yes. Meaning number 4 is pure surprise.
Pure surprise, like a good surprise.
It's not necessarily negative. It's just really unexpected. The translation is basically, wow, I did not expect that angle at all.
Okay, so it's a genuine reaction of being caught off guard.
Exactly. So we have to factor in the culture, the medium, and the specific boss to figure out which of the 4 it is. It really highlights the importance of baselining your managers.
Right, the boss variable from the guide. You kind of need to study your specific manager like an anthropologist.
You do. Does this person usually avoid conflict? If so, interesting is probably a no. Is this person a deep thinker who just loves to debate? Then interesting might invite a discussion. You can't decode the word without decoding the person.
Okay, so we've got the landscape. We know it could be good, bad, polite, or surprised. But now I'm back in the room. I've just pitched my heart out. The boss says, that's interesting.
Yep.
And then silence. My heart is pounding. I have this overwhelming urge to just start talking, to fill the air. I want to explain myself. I want to defend the idea. What do I do?
First rule, and this is explicitly stated in the source, do not panic and do not defend.
That is so hard. The urge to defend is visceral. It's fight or flight.
It is, but it's a trap. If you start defending yourself immediately, you look incredibly insecure.
Yeah.
You are signaling that you assume they hate it. You're basically arguing against an objection they haven't even made yet. You're fighting a ghost.
So if I start rambling about why the budget is actually okay, and they were just thinking about, I don't know, the font color, they look crazy.
Exactly. You're exposing your own weaknesses. Instead, you need to execute what the source calls the calm curiosity strategy.
Calm curiosity. I like the sound of it, but in practice, isn't asking questions a risk? Doesn't it look like I don't know my stuff?
It's actually the ultimate power move. It shifts the dynamic entirely from subordinate seeking approval to partner seeking clarity. The goal is to turn the ambiguity back onto them.
Okay, let's get into the tactical scripts. What do I actually say?
Script number 1 is my absolute favorite because it's so subtle. You say, could you share what stands out to you?
What stands out to you? Why that specific phrasing? Why not just ask, what do you think?
Because what do you think is way too broad. It invites judgment. But what stands out to you assumes something did stand out. It forces them to be specific. It guides them to show their cards.
That's really smart. Okay, what if they're still giving me nothing? Like a non-answer.
Then you go with script number 2. Is there anything you'd like me to clarify?
Nice.
This is helpful, not defensive. It signals confidence, like, I know this material inside out, so hit me.
And what if you just want to rip the Band-Aid off entirely?
Then you use the boldest script. What concerns should I address?
Ooh, that is bold. You're directly inviting the criticism.
You are, but notice the shift there. You aren't saying, is it bad? You're saying, let's solve the problems. You are projecting that you can handle the feedback like a pro.
It stops the spiral because you're giving them a specific task. You're asking them to clarify rather than sitting there guessing in the silence.
Let's actually look at the case study from the source because I think we need to act this out to really feel the difference. It's a marketing strategy role play.
Oh, I love a good role play. Okay, let's do it. I'll be the employee. I just pitched a new, slightly risky campaign.
Perfect. And I'll be the boss. So you finish your pitch, you're smiling, and I lean back, I look at the screen and say, that's interesting.
Okay, first let me do the wrong version, the spiral.
Go for it. Let's see it.
So I'd go, I know it seems a bit out there, but we really think the Gen Z demographic will like it, and I know the colors are bright, but we can totally change that, and if you're worried about the cost, we can cut the second phase.
Whoa, stop. Stop right there. As the boss, I'm sitting here thinking, man, this person is terrified, and now I'm wondering if the cost really is a problem since you brought it up out of nowhere.
I just negotiated against myself.
Completely. You handed me your insecurities on a silver platter. Now wipe the slate clean. Let's take a breath. Same scenario. It's interesting.
I'd love to hear your thoughts. What part do you find most interesting?
Well, I'm actually looking at the timeline. It seems incredibly tight for a Q3 launch.
And scene. Wow, that is such a relief.
Right. The mystery is just gone instantly.
The interesting part wasn't the creative idea, it wasn't my competence. It was literally just the schedule.
And because you asked calmly, you can now solve the actual problem. You can say, okay, let's look at the dates. If you had done the first version, we would have wasted 10 minutes arguing about Gen Z when I didn't even care about that.
That is the aha moment for me. We waste so much energy defending the things we think they're attacking, instead of just asking what the attack actually is.
Or if there is an attack at all. Remember the concept from the guide. Neutral before negative.
Talk to me about that mindset shift, because it sounds like something that's way easier said than done.
Oh, it absolutely takes practice. This is about professional detachment. We are wired to fill silence with worst-case stories. They hate it. I'm stupid. This is failing.
Yep.
The shift is to force your internal narrative to be, they are processing.
So you have to manually override your own brain. You have to divorce your ego from the data.
Yes. Assume they are neutral until they give you data that says otherwise. Assume they are just thinking. It keeps your cortisol levels down and keeps your brain online so you can actually answer their questions effectively.
But, and I have to ask this, because I know our listeners are thinking it, what if it is actually bad?
Okay.
What if you do the calm curiosity thing, you ask, what concerns should I address? And they look you right in the eye and say, honestly, this whole direction is wrong. I don't like it.
Yeah, you have just gained something incredibly valuable. You have gained clarity.
It feels like failure, though. I mean, nobody wants to hear that.
It feels like a punch in the gut, sure, but the expert perspective here is that even negative feedback is just a tool. The interesting phrase was just the wrapper. Now you have the actual content. Now you can work.
So how do I pivot from my boss hates my idea to I am a competent professional who can handle this?
The source suggests a very specific pivot script for when the news is genuinely bad. If they say it's not aligned with the direction, you don't sulk. You don't get defensive.
What do you say?
You say, "Thank you for clarifying. What direction should I focus on instead?"
Wow, what direction should I focus on instead? That is such a pro move.
It immediately moves you out of the failure zone and right into the solution zone. It shows you are coachable, you're resilient, and you're focused on the company's goals, not your own ego.
It really feels like this whole deep dive is about taking your ego out of the equation. That's interesting. Triggers our ego because we want validation. We want the gold star.
Precisely. We crave the good job from authority figures. When we get ambiguity instead, the ego just panics. But if you treat business communication as an information exchange rather than a validation-seeking exercise, that's interesting. Stops being scary. It just becomes
And
interesting.
you see what you did there?
I couldn't resist.
No.
But really, it simply means there is more to discuss. And discussion is good. Discussion is how the actual work gets done.
So to recap what we've unpacked today, that's interesting. It's not a verdict. It's an opening.
It's an invitation to clarify.
It doesn't automatically mean you failed or you're in trouble. It usually means they are processing. Maybe they're skeptical. Maybe they're being polite, or they're just surprised.
And your job is not to guess which one it is. Your job is to ask.
Calm curiosity over nervous silence. Use the scripts. What stands out to you? Is there anything you'd like me to clarify? Or what concerns should I address?
And remember, even if the answer is negative, you are always better off knowing than guessing in the dark.
Absolutely. Now, before we let you go, we want to leave you with a thought that might sting a little bit. We've spent this whole time talking about the boss who says, that's interesting. But we want you to look in the mirror for a second.
This raises a really provocative question for your own leadership style or just how you talk to your colleagues. The next time you say that's interesting to someone else, why are you saying it?
Are you actually interested? Are you confused? Or are you using it as a shield to hide what you really think?
Are you the one creating the anxiety in the room because you're too afraid to just be direct?
Are you the trapdoor? Oof. That is something to chew on during your next commute.
Indeed, be the clarity you want to see in the meeting room.
That wraps up our deep dive on decoding workplace ambiguity. Go out there, be curious, don't panic, and we will see you in the next one.
Thanks for listening.